It was an ordinary day in my life, and I was headed to the grocery store. As I approached the store's entrance, I noticed a middle-aged woman standing there, seemingly in need of help. She appeared distressed and asked if I could hold the door open for her. Now, I've always been cautious about opening doors for strangers, especially in a busy area, but I decided to be polite and offered a smile as I explained that I couldn't open the door at the moment. Little did I know that this seemingly harmless decision would set off a chain of events that would turn my life upside down. The woman who had asked for assistance did not take my refusal well. Her face turned red with anger, and she began to berate me, calling me rude and inconsiderate. Her name was Karen, and she had an aura of entitlement that seemed to overshadow any hint of reason. I tried to calmly explain my reasons for not opening the door, but Karen was having none of it. She said everyone should do their part to help others, her voice carrying across the entrance area. Some passers-by glanced our way, curious about the commotion. Feeling uncomfortable and cornered, I apologized once more and walked away, hoping to put the awkward encounter behind me. But little did I know that this incident was far from over. A week later, as I was walking home from work, I noticed Karen standing outside my building. My heart sank as I realized she must have been waiting for me. Anxiety crept into my veins as I tried to avoid eye contact and quickly make my way inside. However, Karen intercepted me before I could reach the door. Karen said, "So, you ignore me, and now you're pretending I don't exist?" Her voice dripping with resentment. I said I'm sorry, but I have to get home, feeling trapped. She shouted, "You can't just walk away from this," drawing attention from my neighbors. I felt humiliated and trapped, unable to escape the confrontation. In a moment of frustration, I firmly told Karen that I needed my personal space and asked her to leave me alone. However, Karen took my response as a personal attack and stormed off, leaving behind a sense of unease that lingered with me long after she was gone. Days turned into weeks, and Karen seemed to fade from my mind, as I hoped she had moved on to other matters. But life had a different plan for me. One evening, as I was waiting for a friend at a coffee shop, I saw Karen approaching with a determined look on her face. My heart pounded as I braced myself for another uncomfortable encounter. Karen proclaimed, "You can't hide from me forever," her voice loud enough to draw attention from everyone present. Embarrassed and anxious, I tried to defuse the situation, but Karen was relentless. Frustrated by her persistence, I decided it was time to leave. As I picked up my phone from the table, Karen's eyes lit up with a sinister glint. Before I could react, she snatched the phone from my hand and threw it to the ground with all her might. I watched in shock and disbelief as my phone shattered into pieces, the screen cracked beyond repair. Tears welled up in my eyes, not only from the loss of my phone but also from the overwhelming sense of violation and helplessness. In the aftermath of the incident, I knew I had to take action. I reported the incident to the police, but without any solid evidence or witnesses, they informed me that it would be challenging to pursue legal action against Karen. Despite this setback, I was determined to protect myself from any future encounters with her. I installed security cameras outside my home and took precautions to avoid places where I thought she might appear. I also sought therapy to deal with the anxiety and trauma resulting from the incidents. Throughout this process, I began to realize that Karen's actions were not a reflection of my worth as a person but a manifestation of her own unresolved issues. As time passed, I heard from others who had encountered Karen and experienced similar confrontations. It became evident that her behavior was a pattern, not an isolated incident. I learned that Karen struggled with anger management and was known for creating scenes over minor issues. While I didn't excuse her behavior, understanding the root of her actions helped me come to terms with what had happened. I learned to empathize with the pain that might have led her to lash out at others. Nevertheless, I remained steadfast in my decision to protect myself from any further harm. As I continued my journey of healing, I also worked on rebuilding my life after the incident. I replaced my broken phone, surrounded myself with supportive friends, and practiced mindfulness techniques to manage stress and anxiety. With time, the fear of encountering Karen began to lessen, and I regained a sense of control over my life. While I could not erase what happened, I chose to focus on the lessons learned and the resilience I discovered within myself. Years have passed since my encounters with Karen, and life has moved on. I still occasionally think about those incidents, but they no longer hold the same power over me. Instead, I am grateful for the strength and wisdom I gained from the experience. I've learned that sometimes life throws challenges our way, but it is our response to those challenges that defines us. The day Karen shattered my phone, she unknowingly set me on a path of growth, self-discovery, and empowerment. I now look back on that chapter in my life as a turning point, one that shaped me into a stronger and more resilient person. Today, I carry the memory of Karen's actions with me, not as a burden, but as a reminder of the importance of compassion and empathy. I hope that someday, Karen too finds healing and peace within herself, breaking free from the chains of anger that bound her and finding a new path towards growth and self-awareness.